Hello, I'm Haley with Neuhaus Education Center. In this video, we are going to be discussing listening and questioning during oral language and listening comprehension lessons. Oral language and listening comprehension lessons are designed to build oral language in students. Oral language is speaking and listening, and that's the foundation for reading and writing. We hope that you can devote 5 to 8 minutes daily to oral language instruction in your classroom. This might occur during accurate and automatic reading for the read aloud component, or you might be doing it during a different part of your day. When we're talking about oral language and listening comprehension lessons, we want you to refer to the Colors and Shapes of Language manual. There's different units in this manual, and for today's purposes, as I walk you through, I want you to turn to Unit 5, which is Tools. And listening and questioning is going to start with Activity 3, so you'll be on page 15. So I invite you to open up your manual now. You as the teacher for listening and questioning, you're having students do the listening and you'll do the questioning. So for Activity 3, the teacher reads this story. So we have Amy Chin's project. You're going to be reading this aloud for students. Now notice, let me pull it up a little bit. I've underlined 4 different sentences where in brackets it says the teacher draws a blank. These are picture prompts included with the passages that while you read aloud, you'll show these pictures to the students to help them hold the order of events and the important events in their memory. So if you're an excellent artist, feel free to draw these pictures on your own. If you're like me and sometimes what you intend to draw doesn't really turn out like you would hope, then we have some of these pictures, not some, all of these pictures on the Neuhaus website under Consumables and Tools. So I've printed out the pictures for Amy Chin's project. These are the 3x5 cards. They're also 4x6 cards or a PowerPoint if you can just decide what works best for your instruction in your classroom. But as I'm reading, I would show these cards, maybe tape them on the board or put them under the document camera. So I have my 4 cards here ready to go. So you'll be reading aloud, and when it's prompted, you'll show the picture. That's the listening section. Students are just sitting there listening. They're engaged with you. They're hopefully paying lots of attention to what you're reading. Now let's talk about questioning section. If you'll turn the page, when you finish your reading, then part B, the teacher asks the following questions after reading the story. This is a suggestion of the different questions you might ask that help gauge students' comprehension, make sure that they understand what they've read. If you have a class of students and they're really confused about some of the questions, maybe you need to go back and reread part or all of the passage. That's okay. If you have other questions that you think might be really important for students, you can certainly add those to your questioning as well. I might even, if I think of a few other questions, I might even add some down here and write them in my manual so I have them for next time, and that's okay. So before you teach this with students, what you need to prepare ahead of time, make sure you have those pictures ready. Make sure you have read the passage. You know if there's any vocabulary you want to really pay attention to, or make sure you emphasize for students, and make sure you know when you are supposed to present those pictures to students. Timing wise, this should hopefully just take 5 to 8 minutes. The reading of the passage shouldn't take too long, and then questioning, it depends on how engaged your students are. If you're having them do discussions with their partners before they call out. So that's really based on your classroom, how long that's going to take. And during this time, students are going to be listening to you read the passage and then engaged with you in a discussion while they're answering the questions that you pose to them. If you have any other questions about listening and questioning during an oral language and listening comprehension lesson, you can always refer to your OLLC training materials or your Colors and Shapes of Language manual.